Hi, my name is Songgu.
I'm Daisuke.
So yeah, we are going to present the making process of digital human uh, throughout our Project Vincent. So before we start, let me show you a quick video about our Project Vincent.
Emotion. It's the core of humanity. It's what sets us apart. Meet Vincent, a digital creation using a real-time engine with engaging, lifelike qualities. Vincent brings an emotional intelligence to AI in real-time rendering. The pupils in his eyes, the surface hairs on his skin, slight wrinkles on his lips and around his mouth. These minute details add an emotional reality, a layer of human interaction, making Vincent a convincing, compelling virtual character for any story he tells in film, TV, gaming, advertising, and beyond. Humor, drama, whimsy, action. This is the next generation of photorealism. Think of it. Virtual characters representing any person you envision, telling your stories with endless possibilities. Just what your imagination has been waiting for. Vincent and beyond, the power of emotion.
Woo! Yeah, so we are from GiantStep, and I'm quite sure that you guys don't know about our company. So GiantStep is commercial film-based company in South Korea, and we are also have LA branch here. So we are looking for some chance to expand our business here. So yeah, let's begin. So to build a real-time digital human, which is really realistic, it took a lot of effort on wide range of areas. So first, you need a lot of advanced features. Like if, for example, if you are working on skin shader, you might need features like dual lobe specular or transmission or something like that. So fortunately, Unreal Engine already support these kind of common features. But however, if you for the other features, especially related to your own specific needs, you might need build it by yourself. So that's why you need good developers. But even though you have good developers, it might not be possible to create a realistic digital human if you don't have someone who properly use it. So that's why you need good artists. And among the good artists, you probably need a good Daisuke. So this is Daisuke. So yeah, he is our art director, and even though he never experienced Unreal Engine before, he was so talented and also really good at modeling or lighting and all the range of 3D graphics. So yeah, I'm quite sure you guys also need Daisuke too, but I'm not gonna give you guys. Yeah, you guys might find him out there. So anyway, so Daisuke will explain about the art side of Vincent. So Daisuke.
Yes. Thank you, Song. Hello, everybody. I'm Daisuke Sakamoto. I'm working as a VFX supervisor at GiantStep in Seoul. So Project Vincent is my first time to use the Unreal Engine. Because, as I mentioned before, I'm a VFX artist, so I had never used the Unreal Engine before in any project. So first, we decided to start Project Vincent last year around this time. So before the start, we had a kickoff meeting. At that time, we had only 5 artists, including me. Which was a really tiny team. Last year, we had a goal, which was to complete at least 80% of the project. But was difficult. Nevertheless, we could get some good references, such as Daisuke or Meet Mike, which were previously existing digital human models. So to get started with this project, we scanned all the detail of skin, bodies, so for efficient modeling.
So yeah, it feels sounds a little bit crazy because you have no experience on Unreal Engine before, and also you have a very limited time, and you have really tiny team. So who suggests to do this kind of crazy project?
Oh, you?
Me. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. So, however, so you scanned Vincent in LA, right? Where did you scan him?
In USC. So first, we visited the ICT lab at USC and used the right stage to scan the face. Then we scanned just a normal face and also 40 different facial expression for blend shape. During this process, we were able to scan the face shape as well as all the detail of skin, such as fur and fine hairs. So besides the facial part, we use the photogrammetry for the others. For example, for teeth, we visit dental office and cast more of teeth. Using photogrammetry, we could then enable modeling optimization. But in fact, we have to modify the actual usage modeling data several times.
Yeah, I saw you spend hard time with it. So, yeah, it was crazy hard, right?
Yes, yes. This process was hard, but now I think it was a very satisfying experience. And thanks to the Demade Studio for allowing us to use pictures of their secret studio.
Yeah. So the left side, top side of left image was their secret studio. Yeah. So, how about hair? So did you scan hair too?
Yes, we scanned hair, but only for reference. When we create the hair modeling, we also use the photogrammetry. Based on the various reference images, using photogrammetry, we were able to export all the cameras that were pre-made in photogrammetry to Maya. So this process was really efficient, but as you know, hairs took a lot of time.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, it was really pain in your ass, right? Yeah. So, I also saw you work on sequencer a lot. So,
Yes.
how do you think about the sequencer?
You know many VFX artists like me who know the sequence function in Unreal Engine and how innovative it is. There is even previous work in the cinematic process, but it's different. I can edit the layout and animation in level sequence and also can check the feedbacks to reflect the connection in real time. So the use sequencer speeds up the whole process. Okay. The best advantage of using Unreal Engine for me is that it is very user-friendly. And there are other advantages like the improvement of the workflow. Although it was my first time to use it, I could control and manage many things easily. Especially, in the animation part, such as camera animations and adjusting motion capture data and writing animations. As a result, we could create the best outcomes with only a few members because with Unreal Engine, we have a big advantage to work in real time from beginning to the end. Personally, I think that Unreal Engine is the greatest tool among the others. This is all artist part. The next is technical part. Please, Mr. Kang. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Daisuke. So I'm Sunggu, and I'm a director of GiantStep, which is Research and Development Center of GiantStep, and I also worked at Epic Games Korea as a technical artist. So, however, I'd like to talk to you about our tools for pipeline. So, when we need to build a bunch of tools for our Project Vincent. So since we have very specific needs for our project, so especially as Daisuke told you, we were really tiny team, so we need very efficient pipeline, and so we have to build a lot of tools to make the pipeline efficient. Actually, I'd like to talk to you about all the tools that we built, but we had to choose only 3 of them because I cannot do this all day. So please understand. And first tool is like blend shape recorder. Is Unreal C++ plugin. And for Vincent, when actor do some facial acting, it translated to the blend shape animations. But unfortunately, we couldn't find the way to record the blend shape animations. So the joint animations could be recorded in sequencer recorder, but the blend shape was not at the time. So we got 2 choices. One was saving blend shape animations into our binary format, and the second was tweak the sequencer recorder to and make it possible to record the blend shape animations with it. So we choose the second way. You guys might feel it's the right way, but at the same time it's way more complicated and hard way. So since we have very limited human resources, so we had to be really brave when we made this choice. However, I could choose it not only because I'm a brave man. I could choose it because I'm not the one who actually built this tool. So my Seungmin, my programmer, did this task, and he did a great job with it. So before we go, let me show you how the record plugin works. So currently, the facial animation is driven by external source, and the ordinary sequencer recorder could not record the blend shape animations. But with our sequencer recorder, you can see it is saved as keyframe animation, so you can script forward and backward. So it works fine. So to achieve this, first we started to find any clue to change a sequencer recorder on the Google search. We searched Google, but we failed. So there's no information on the Google. So we had to go to Unreal Engine API, which is very scary. I don't know why, but when I tried to use an API which I've never been used before, it was really scary for me. So anyway, so with this scary API, I could find some sequencer-related modules, and also found out that these all modules are really tied together. So we had to really be careful because if we touch it, badly, and we can ruin everything. So also we had to inherit it and redefine these classes. So if you'd like to try to touch a sequencer recorder like us, so external recorder of sequencer recorder .cpp file would be a good start point. Yeah, it's a good example for it. Okay, that was our blended shape recorder, and the second tool is machine learning live facial capture system. So when we start the project, we need a good real-time facial solution, but there was nothing like that. So only a few popular company was worked on their own solution, but it was not accomplished, or it was not commercialized, or it was too expensive. So we had to make another big brave choice. So as I told you, we were a very brave team, and I'm not the one who actually do the work. So we can choose to create our own facial solution. So programmer Seungmin and Vincent built it. I think I didn't told you that Vincent is actual person, but he was programmer. He's programmer, and he was worked on his own facial system. So yeah, we choose to using deep learning for our facial system. So deep learning have a lot of advantages like this, but the most important thing was it's really good for a small team like us. So we need two networks used for our facial expression, and the first one is facial marker tracker, which predict the coordinate of 3D markers based on macroless 2D image. Nowadays, it's quite popular algorithm, so I might have to skip to the second network. So the second network is blend shape mapper. So the goal of this network was that predict the blend shape weights based on the markers 3D coordinates. So as you can see on the left, it takes the marker's position as input, and then it it predict the blend shape weights, and yeah, make the expressions. So for this network, we used a lot of expressions for the training data, and we also need to separate the facial area into 6, and it lowers the dimension of the each networks. So after that, yeah, we just combine the results. So okay, let's move to the third tool, and the third tool is material allocator. It's on your Python script. Actually, it's not a big tool. It's just example of on your Python script. So when we try to change the materials of Vincent, it took crazy long, because it's really huge asset which have a lot of vertices and faces. If you try to change the materials of that kind of huge asset, it would take crazy long too. Yeah. So, however, if it will take a few seconds, only a few seconds, if you know a little trick with this script. So yeah, first thing you need to do is placing your asset into your level, and then change the materials of the actor which you just placed on. So it will not take too long. So, and then third, run this script, and boom, it's done. So this script reflects actor's material setting to original asset, and it will be super fast. In case of Vincent, it took about 40 minutes before this script, but after this script, it only took 8 seconds. Yeah, it feels like miracle for me. So this is it, and these guys are on the pictures are my team members, and our team is always brave and challenging. Yeah, with the team, we could continuously try new challenges for development. So if you want to join us, so if you are AI programmer, or if you are character modeler, or if you are technical artist, or if you are Warren Buffett, or Elon Musk, or Bill Gates, you can join us. Okay. So we are also preparing character creation service for you guys, and like cinematic character or game character, VR, AR, mobile, or things like that. So please feel free to contact us for this kind of work.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay, that's all. And thanks to Epic for giving this great opportunity. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. 감사합니다.
예, 아리가또 고자이마시다. Yeah.